Hey, it's Todd from Gilligames. The Steam Game Festival is going strong right now, and you can play Rising Star 2 demo right now. Go to the store page, you can find the link to download the demo right now. That only goes through Sunday, so make sure you check it out before the weekend ends. It's really hard. There's a lot of games in the festival, so it's really hard to find any particular game, especially the indie games, when you're just looking through their enormous list of games that are in the festival, that are featured in the festival. So it's easier if you're looking for a specific game, just go to that games page like Rising Star 2's page, and you'll see a button to install the demo from there. Also, don't forget, I'm going to be doing a live stream playing the game this Saturday at noon Central, which is 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and lots of other times around the world. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today was keyboard shortcuts that are in Rising Star 2. Now, it's not really obvious because everything you do in the game can be done on the screen with the mouse, and the keyboard is really optional for most things. I mean, you need it to walk around and drive, but there's other things that you can do with the keyboard that aren't obvious, and I wanted to talk about some of those. First thing I want to talk about is, well, obviously the default keys for walking around are W, A, S, and D. Those are configurable in the settings from the main menu. Now, one thing you can do when you are when you're on a mode that is a 3D environment, such as a home like this, or driving around in the city, or in a venue, or a hotel, one of those kind of 3D modes, you can press escape and it'll bring you to the main menu. When you're in the main menu, if you hit escape again, it's the same as pressing resume game. So it's easy to just bring it up, make it go away. Now, from the main menu, you can go to settings, and you can bind your movement keys for forward, back, left, and right. And there's also keyboard shortcuts for parking space actions and viewing the full mini-map. And I'll show you what that is. These are things when you're in the driving around the city mode. Now, the mini-map down here, you can click this button and it brings it up, and click somewhere else on the map that isn't the location, which is kind of hard to do because there's so many locations. So it's easier to just press the button, or you can use the key that it has highlighted here. I have mine set to tab. By default, it's the letter M for map. I set it to tab so it's closer to the WASD keys for driving around. Real easy to hit it while I'm driving. Toggle it on and off. And to go inside, this one doesn't show the keyboard shortcut on the button, but I have mine mapped to E. So pressing E is the same as clicking the go inside button. And it's not just go inside, it's call it the parking space action, because depending on the location that you're at, the button says something different. For most things, it says go inside. But if you go to a park that needs mowing, and these are already mowed, let's see if I can find one that I haven't mowed recently. I'm looking at the mini map as I drive around. That one's mowed too. So now I'm gonna hit tab to look. Okay, so there's more up here. When the mini map is up, the van automatically hits the brakes. So that's just safe driving, so you're not kind of like texting and driving, I guess, and crashing into things. Okay, the cemetery is already mowed. There's a couple more. Here we go. Here's a couple of parks that need mowing. Landscape work. So now I would press E for the parking space option to mow the lawn. And I have E set for mine. It's the default, because also it's right next to the movement cluster, so you don't really have to move your hands around much at all. Another different thing that E can do for different locations, if you go to an arena or a theater and you can't go in if there's no show. It's not like a regular bar where you can just hang out in the bar, but you can look at the venue calendar, see if there's any shows coming up. Now that brings me to the next set of keys. When you're viewing a full calendar like this, whether it's a venue calendar or your personal calendar over here on the side, if you press the left and right arrow keys, it'll navigate through the months. And you can see there's some other shows coming up in May. There's a few in June. It's as far as they go. So it's easy to navigate the calendars, or you can click the arrows, which are also guitar picks. Okay, and of course on any screen, pretty much any screen, you can press escape, which is the same as clicking the red button, the red X button, to get out. Oh, one more thing. On the dialogues, there's a couple of dialogues like confirmation things. For example, like when you rest or practice. How many days do you want to rest or practice? This one, or if it's a dialogue that says like, are you sure you want to do something? You can press escape to make it go away without doing anything. You can press return to submit whatever it is. Like if it's a yes and no, return will mean yes. Return on a number dialogue will submit whatever the number is. But before I do that, I'm also going to show you can press the numbers 1 through 9 and 0 to quickly set the value. And for resting, you can't go below 1, so even if I press 0, it's 1. But this makes it real quick. If you just want to say rest for 3 days, hit 3, return. And I'm getting phone calls from people. Here's a good one. Someone's asking me if I want to book a gig with them. I'm just gonna press return for yes. Okay. So this is great for people who love to use the keyboard. It makes things a little bit faster sometimes than moving the mouse around, but it's completely optional other than the driving and walking around part, which you need to use the keys on. Well, that's it. Don't forget, live stream this Saturday where I'll be showing all kinds of gameplay tips and ideas that you might not have thought of, or maybe give you inspiration to check the game out yourself if you haven't yet. And add it to the wish list, like us on Facebook, and most important of all, tell all your friends about it. It's really important that we get the word out. We got about 2 months before release, and a lot of that is just really trying to get the word out there during that time. So, all right, everybody have a great day.